paper magic will survive like the heat death of the universe, and will...
Oh, it's a smuggler's copter. Would you like to crew this? And then it crashes because they don't understand arithmetic.
All your cards belong to me.
2 minutes into macing him in the eyeballs, I switched to pepper spray. He's like, it's all right, refreshing. And went back to the mace.
Magic is dying. I'm done. Selling everything.
I might be a hoarder. And yes,
I don't have the crayons or glue to explain this to you right now.
What, are you gonna die twice?
Oil will be worthless before magic cards will.
Well, okay, Dr. Man.
That's Mr. Dr. Professor Jason.
Voice Text Channel is a museum. Actually, though.
It's a receptacle.
Yeah,
That's gonna get me
that's
canceled.
for sure. Like, I'm scrolling. We got 666 seismotoads up in here. We got some fucking water park for no reason.
We can buy a water park. Don't you want to buy a water park?
We can
Corbin?
buy a water park.
The thing I built in my head before he posted that pic, I was like, oh, an amusement park? He's like, there's a water slide and go-karts. I'm like, oh, $1 million? And he's like, oh, this is the fucking amusement park from Nobody 2. This is...
Wait, so I'm confused. Maybe I wasn't here for this, actually. Welcome into Brainstorm Brewery, by the way, everybody. We'll put this image up on the screen. Me, Jason, and Cass this week, they're going to catch me up on this. What am I looking at?
It was some water park for sale up in, like, upstate New York. It was $1 million.
I'd buy the shit out of this.
That's what we... Okay, yeah. You would buy that for $1 million?
Well, I mean, probably. That's like half a house in L.A. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is it's in
upstate New York.
Yeah, but this is like a bedroom, a bathroom and a half, and a kitchen in Seattle.
I understand that. So the actual shtick is you buy this and you start your cult there, and there's barracks for the militia inside, like the dining hall.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was. Yeah, but having like a water park at your compound is lit. That's such good recruiting because, like, even if you can't convince the parents with your like leftist radical politics, you get the kids hooked, and then you get the beg factor, right? My dad worked at Kellogg's. This is what same thing for Fruit Loops and militias, right? It's the exact same concept. You get the kids hooked, and the kids are like, I want to join the cult that's got the water park. He's like, I heard that guy everybody's wife, and they're like,
that's what I was going to say.
Go-karts.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, you don't want people to be bored in your sex cult while you're sexing someone else in the cult.
And then your kids don't know arithmetic because they spend like 16 hours a day on a water slide, and this guy's your wife. And there's a chain link fence protecting you from the outside.
So what you're saying is it's foolproof, Jason.
I'm saying it's not. It's not going to be if you're joining that cult. If I'm starting the cult, yeah, it's great.
Start your cult. This is like the foolproof place. It has everything you need ready to go. I guess you're right.
It has good bones. See, anyway, I'm drinking a cursed cocktail, and that's why I'm inclined to agree with you.
The voice text channel. It's a
dark.
place.
This is dark Kraken rum and Verner's Boston Cooler flavored ginger ale. It's not just Verner's ginger ale, which is delicious. It is actually a cream ginger ale, similar to the Boston Cooler, which, as you know, is from the American city of, say it with me,
Worcester,
Detroit. The Boston Street ice cream shop invented this beverage called the Boston Cooler, and it's just ginger ale and ice cream, and it's amazing. And
that's pretty good.
If you mix it with Kraken, it's a light and stormy. I gotta say, it's a little bit cursed, and I know a lot of our listeners hate Verner's and love to tell me about it, but too bad.
I don't know what that means.
I haven't had alcohol in like 6 months, so I'm gonna get faced.
Oh, good for you! I'm here for the simple.
It's enjoyable. So hey, if you want a good recipe, make your dark and stormy with, instead of ginger beer, maybe the Verner's Boston Cooler. If you have it in your area, you probably don't.
Well, yeah. Well, anyway, that's what Jason's up to right now. You know what I've been up to though? What I've been up to is going to Commander's Herald, checking out some of the parody articles that have been just crushing it recently.
Now, what do you think about our paywall? Because we don't have one, and I'm wondering why our lack of a paywall hasn't generated.
I gotta say, Jason, it's pretty typical of you to want to gate art behind a paywall to pay for your next yacht.
That's true.
You wealthy, rich, Mr. Moneybags monocle wearing motherfucker.
I changed my title from content manager to CEO on LinkedIn. So now the messages I'm getting on LinkedIn are much funnier. It's like, hey, you're the CEO of a company with no employees. Me too.
Yes, well, good for you. Go check out Commander's Herald, everybody.
I'm not funny. John and Naomi are funny. John and Naomi are hilarious.
Yes, they are.
Zoe's great. Jeff Gerton's great. Fuck you, Jacob.
If anybody you don't care for in your writing staff.
Yeah, I just called out the one guy I didn't say was great. And he knows what he did.
Damn.
He always submits his articles on time. And he did a lot of legwork researching like new subreddits where we could post like D&D stuff. Van Gundy, you're a piece of shit.
And welcome into Brainstorm Brewery, everybody.
Click on his articles just to read them, but like read them in a sarcastic voice. like make up a dude in your head and his name is Jacob Van Gundy and he sounds like this or something, and then like read all his articles like that.
Well, welcome into the show. I hope you get an idea of how it's going to be. We're going to be having some fun, but first we're going to be heading into some standard discussion.
Nobody thinks that's fun. I'm the least popular person.
I gotta say, people are glad you're back. We're glad you're back for today. Glad to have you here. We also did some after hours people should go check out at patreon.com/BSB with Jason recently. That we'll be hitting that before too long. So we appreciate everyone who checks that out.
I got a chance to listen to some Jason-less after hours, and I won't let that happen again. I won't let them release a recording of something I didn't participate in and say it's after hours. That's bad quality control. I won't let that happen.
but
that would be like releasing your batch of Diet Cokes without at least a little rat poop on the top. You know, like that's part of the formula. That's part of the taste.
You're allowed. Listen, if you're allowed 0.2% rat feces, and you put that 0.2% of the bottle as Diet Coke instead, that's profit you're losing.
That's true.
I paid good money for the can of Diet Coke, rat feces and all.
You got to be out here rat feces maxing.
Yeah, like when they switched from the Coke to the new Coke, and they took out the rat feces, and then they switched back
Wasn't the same.
and said, "Ooh, Coke Classic." It wasn't the same. They took out the rat feces and the cane sugar, and they thought we wouldn't notice because high fructose corn syrup.
They took the beef tallow out of the Dr. Pepper.
Oh, it would be awesome. I built 2 fucking decks this weekend, so
I'm pretty into Magic right now. A lot of people I know are on post Final Fantasy burnout, though. Like,
well, I built a Final Fantasy deck. I still like it, dude. It's been months, and I'm still way into it. The Final Fantasy stuff is great. But like, a lot
better than Spider-Man stuff.
If they'd have given us a whole year to absorb Lord of the Rings, if they'd have given us a whole year, it might not have felt so stressful. Because, like, let people discover this. I don't know, dude. I like to make it last a little bit longer. Everyone's like, I open my Spider-Man packs. Where the f*** is my Avatar? And it's just like, why are we tearing through stuff? It takes time. If you're building a deck out of, like, your collection and it's disorganized because you have ADD, like, it takes you a while to build a deck. And it's like a process, and it's fun.
What I've learned
everything
recently,
you're saying, Jason, is right. And the sets come out once every
couple of weeks.
Every 9 weeks, I believe.
Yeah.
10
the real
weeks.
thing I've learned is that the most stressful format in Magic to play is casual commander, because everything has to do with someone else's feelings. But like when I sit down to play Legacy with somebody, it's just like, here are the rules. You're trying to kill me as fast as you can. Let's go.
I've been having a lot of fun with Standard. All right, before we talk about Standard, we want to give a shout out to our new sponsor, BAN, the arbitrage network that is at the forefront of a lot of the data gathering and tools really available to us in the Magic Finance world. DJ and Cass have been longtime users. I've been digging into it myself, and it is definitely a place we are excited to partner with. So go check out Ban across the interwebs.
MTG Ban is just such a wonderful set of tools. Whatever you really need to do, whether you need to export data and get information about cards that you don't have, or generate a list of cards that you do have and punch it in to get pricing, Ban kind of just works for whatever you're doing in the industry. It's a great way to get inputs, outputs, and also check buy list prices. Make sure that you're getting the most money for your cards when you sell them.
Yep,
it's
definitely
hard to have a
I've
Ban
been.
membership and not make money using it.
Yeah, that is definitely where I've been using the buy list. Sorry to step on you there. All right, let's move on to talk about some news made by Wizards of the Coast. I'm glad that we recorded on a Tuesday, so we were able to get a hold of this article that came out from Wizards talking about the banned and restricted announcement that has been moved. The date was originally in late November. The date has been moved up to November 10th, a couple weeks earlier. My belief is that this better overlaps with the World Championship, which is in early December. They want people to be able to start testing for that. They don't want teams to basically just be sitting there waiting on a ban announcement, waiting to see what's going to happen.
Now, Corbin, I think it's interesting to note you initially speculated that was to save Baltimore, but the dates don't line up. This is going to happen after that Baltimore event.
I did. So there's a couple things at play here. And this gets more into what they talked about in the article, but I did initially think, they probably, if they're moving it, surely they're going to move it ahead of the spotlight in Baltimore, because why wouldn't they? That means people can test new stuff. But apparently that's not what's happening. And to be fair, I don't know when the RCQ season ends exactly. So like maybe there's only so far they can move it. So like they have to work with a lot of windows here.
I think Baltimore is the last weekend of the RCQ season because there are RCQs happening that weekend.
There you go. So they were
like
kind of hamstrung there, unless they did something crazy where they test banned it for the spotlight. That would be wild, but maybe exciting.
It's weird where I think they need to maintain their promise to not change bans during RCQ season. I know people. I saw people on social media getting upset about this. There was a segment that said something, and I'll quote here for a moment. We believe Standard may be hurt in the short term by one or two dominant decks. Long term, it is certainly hurt by banning decks out from under players in a surprise move. We want players to have as much confidence as possible in their ability to put a deck together and play it for as long as possible. That's why we moved to 3-year Standard and why we try to minimize bans where possible. Now, something that I saw as a reply to this is that they wouldn't care as much if Vivi was $1, and that is true. They would not care as much, but it's not because they're worried about selling Final Fantasy.
People would complain less about Vivi getting banned if it cost them $4 and not $150.
Yeah,
because it's the players are getting fucked there.
If I spend $500 to buy the Vivi Cauldron deck and they ban it from me in the middle of RCQ season, like I might never play Standard again if I was a less entrenched player.
Yeah, exactly. I'm so happy. I am so happy that Wizards of the Coast finally put this into words, because I have been making this argument to anyone who will listen. Content creators who have very vocal opinions, anyone on the street, that you can, with players will tolerate a bad Standard season. They will not tolerate getting traumatized by having their hand on the stove and getting burned. They will quit forever. And it is so difficult with nuance and character limits on the internet, blah, 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 to help people understand that what is good, what is quote unquote good for like this optimal version. And I think I touched on this last week. I kind of like posited like this idea that what is good for the quote unquote short-term best format is not necessarily what is good for the long-term health of the game. And I'm so happy to finally see it just put into words by Wizards of the Coast in a paragraph that you can just quote to people to try to help them understand that, like, yes, everyone wants the metagame to be perfect, but when the metagame isn't perfect, because it can literally never be perfect by virtue of the number of hours put into it via Wizards and then via the rest of the world. It just literally can never be perfect. You have to make a trade-off somewhere.
A solved standard metagame is one deck. And that's boring, but like that's the result of standard.
Well, and
don't play standard if you don't want to play the same deck all the time, because if there's a best deck, that's what you're going to play against all day. That's why I got bored by standard. You can't complain that Vivi's boring if like the whole point is to find the best deck.
And a lot of people who are playing Vivi like playing Vivi mirrors and think that they are at least somewhat skill based. Not to say that the card doesn't need to be banned, but like the people actually playing the deck at least seem to be having some amount of fun. They're not like playing Corey Steel Cutter at each other going, oh, I hate this. But here, this gets to the...
Oh, I remember when standard was like 78% of the decks was a boring Delver deck that took 50 turns to kill you. Yeah, I remember those days.
So Vapor Snag, Nickel and Dime you.
I love those days. So, and this gets to the other point, a couple things here. At the Spotlight, Mono Red won the event. Mono Red had a very good win percentage against Izzet, which of course dominated the numbers. Mono Red wasn't even the only deck to do well against Izzet there. Frank Karsten writes an article saying now that the strategies have been found that have some success against Izzet, new metagame shifts can emerge. And some people on the internet really didn't like that and thought that this was more of the, just covering up for a bad meta, blah, blah, blah. Except lo and behold, as Frank accurately then pointed out to them, the actual results on Magic Online over the past week have very, very heavily skewed towards Mono Red and other decks that perhaps beat Izzet. It has not just gotten to this point where we were at last summer where it was just literally all Cauldron or all Izzet, blah, blah, blah. And to that point, in the article today, they addressed the fact that Mono Red might actually be the best deck in Standard. It has a better winning percentage against the field than Izzet Cauldron does. Again, like the Izzet Cauldron deck was the easy best deck to find, and it was found. What do you do if Mono Red's actually the better deck and you had emergency banned Vivi? Then you're just emergency banning another card now, and no one can actually build a deck.
Then you make the Mono Red problem even worse.
Yeah, so we get to November, and maybe you ban them both then, but at least people got to actually play the RCQ season. And you know what that also means, whether you like it or not, is that everyone came out of rotation, this Vivi Cauldron deck's the best deck. Well, now we're shifting to, Mono Red's the best deck. It beats that. And maybe there'll be more shifts after that, and maybe not. And maybe it'll just be a 2-deck format. But we're not done yet. Like, we're seeing the evolution as it's supposed to happen. People just don't like that the numbers are higher now than they were in the past for the same evolutions.
I think ironically people have accepted that bans are like a necessary part of ensuring a healthy format, and anytime a tournament's meta is stale, then the bans are coming. So I think the people kind of have like maybe become inured to it, or like have just accepted it as a natural part of the metagame figuring itself out, but they've said they don't want to do that anymore because pulling the rug out from under people rather than, hey, in 3 months we'll print more cards and that'll address this.
To that point, Jason, actually, I think a great example of that in practice has been the Legacy metagame over the last 6 months or so, where people were saying, blue-black's the best deck, you have to ban it, and then it didn't get banned a couple times. And now, it's obviously still a very strong deck. Like, turns out the Wasteland Days deck is going to be top dog in Legacy. But, I mean, there's like 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 other decks in such a powerful format that are hanging with it pretty well. And, like, I think that there are 3 of the top 5 decks have a good matchup against Reanimator.
Legacy was kind of in its heyday. I would say Legacy peaked like 8 years ago, and it was kind of the most boring then. It was the most similar to Standard than it had ever been. When there was SCG, had Legacy and Standard results on their front page side by side. I mean, that was kind of when Legacy peaked.
Yeah, I mean,
when there's a lot of tournaments with incentives for good players to try and break the format, things homogenize. Like, back when there was a Legacy SG Open every single week, that was when we had, like, Shardless Bug and, Grixis Delver and Rug Delver and these decks that were just hyper-efficient machines. Yeah, Merfolk was consistently sitting at like the 3-4 table. Like that was a real part of Legacy metagame.
Hey, I made the finals in SCG Open. Just saying.
Well, that was more than 10 years ago, though, Corbin.
Okay, well that's true. Shit.
Listen, I also have played Merfolk in a Legacy Open before. I played it in a Open where I had 4 mental missteps in my deck, and it was pretty good.
Oh,
I played blue-red Merfolk in Montreal at a Legacy Open.
Ironically, yeah, Mental Misstep was when Merfolk was at its best, and then shortly, by virtue of Mental Misstep existing, became at its worst.
Mental Misstep was so good, people stopped running Force of Will.
That's when
people realized they up.
It changed Legacy so much that Legacy on the other side of Mental Misstep did not look like Legacy before Mental Misstep. It looked just... Even though Mental Misstep was then gone, it was still new.
Yeah.
One of the coolest developments that happened in that format was I saw people cutting like a couple of Curse Catchers and a couple lands for 4 Chrome Moxes, and you just played fewer 1-drops.
Yeah.
You were just like, I'll Chrome Mox out my Silver Guild to recoup the card. Oh, nice Mental Misstep, idiot.
Silver Guild days. Oh, man. I had a custom. I tried to buy the original art of Silver Guild. Doesn't exist. It was digital. But I did have an artist do me, like hand paint me, whatever, a playmat of Silver Guild Adept. Love that card.
But back to the point Jason made and then I reinforced. I think people just assume that bans are going to happen constantly. And I think that's, they have reason to believe that. It's kind of been the tune for the last couple of years, but give formats time to develop and maybe they get better. To be clear, I think the best thing about this article is the level of transparency, the level of we did a boo-boo and like this isn't good, but we're maintaining our promise for this reason. I think that transparency, this is the first time where I feel like the transparency is both genuine and legitimate. A lot of times there's sort of like a veneer of we're trying to say the right things here. This one is just we are trying to say the truth.
I was so happy.
If we give you what you ask for, you won't get what you want.
Yes.
That's a good way to put it. Kind of. Yeah. And because like the thing is like Jason said something earlier about, well, if one standard metagame is bad, then people call for bans. And it's like, that's true. And it's like, well, what happened? Because think about what if we end up here in another month, right? When we get to we're like 7 weeks out from the ban. But what if Mono Red is a dominating deck then, and Cauldron is a good deck? But it's like, what if Mono Red was the best deck all along? You have to wait and see. So like, you can't just take the metagame at this one tournament, or even in this case, I guess 2 tournaments if you count the Arena Open, and say, because it looks like this format will always look like this and is therefore bad. Maybe that's true, maybe not. But like, what if Mono Red becomes the best deck, but then there's a green-white deck that's good against Mono Red that can play enough Heritage Reclamations in the sideboard to deal with Izzet when Izzet's being held down by Red? And like, you get into just, it actually evolves. Because for all the shitting people did on the last standard format for fine reasons, there were there were like 4 decks you could play, and one of them was a little better than the rest, but everyone was gunning for it all the time. So like, I don't know, like it's just the grass is not always greener kind of thing. And I'm glad to see the article address just all of it.
I think people actually want a ban because things get better after a ban. And they're just like, oh, things will get better.
Well, it's easier after a ban. Like right now, if you want to win in Standard, you have to be good at Magic and actually develop your decks and build your sideboards well. But post-ban, it's the Wild fucking West. You can play your hee-haw deck or whatever and be fine.
That is, that's ultimately what it all comes back to, is that people want that. Because of course they do. I want to be able to play my brew and have it be great, but I haven't grinded 50 matches against Izzet to know how it matches up there yet. I'm just playing it on Arena and having fun. And that's what everybody wants. And bans are the easiest way to get that right, to believe that so it's just easy. And then you add in the fact that, like, as a content creator / anyone on the internet, you are incentivized to demand, that things are bad and need to be changed. And then as a content creator, of course you want things to be the Wild West. You can make a crazy new deck. Right. You're going to get a lot more views for that than you're going to get views for optimizing your sideboard against Izzet.
What card?
Yeah, it's just...
So they said in this article... I mean, you guys all zoomed in on one specific paragraph, but I zoomed in on a paragraph too, and it's they call internally their Felidar Guardian situations where, oops, we missed an interaction that trivializes Magic the Gathering, because with 4 Saheeli and 4 Felidar Guardian, you got a real good chance of just shutting the game down on turn 4, and do that enough times, you just win FNM. And, like, that sucked. Vivi Cauldron is not Felidar Saheeli. So the fact that they call it a Felidar situation internally lets me know that they don't consider VV a Felidar situation, and neither should we. And if it gets that way, they have shown they will go, well, we understand that banning decks out from under people sucks, but we did the math, and it's worse to have a really boring Saheeli Felidar Guardian deck at everybody's playing at FNM, or imagine a 9-round standard tournament of that. That's worse than people being like, oh, they banned my Saheeli or whatever, right?
Right.
But this isn't worse.
Yeah.
It's
Was it intentional that you made multiple different WWE promo jokes in there, Jason?
Yeah. You know,
so and you add Saheeli to the mix. I'm up
to 130%. You're building a 100-card deck. I'm going 130.
Well, I'll tell you,
me.
130%. That's the money you make on these breaking bulk.
Breaking bulk time.
Not a guarantee. This is not
pick of the week.
Advice.
Cream of the crop.
That was a cream of the crop transition.
The cream rises in price.
All right, you all will never guess this breaking bulk. It's an Edge of Eternity's white uncommon.
I never watched wrestling.
Jason doesn't know it. It is Seam Rip. Seam Rip is
banger.
It is, and it's only 50 cents, but it's actually like
there's one really good white uncommon every set, and I'm glad they do that.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Well, this is it's just very important against to wit mono red, and to to extent is it obviously as well, but it's just very good, right? Just 1 mana removal. It's 50 cents. I'm buyless on it's usually okay. It's going to be in standard for 3 years. You may as well grab them out of any draft book you can, because we see a lot of uncommons now in standard hit $2 or $3, and especially ones that could likely just be a 4 for the next 3 years.
Yeah, Seam Rip also I'm certain would see Pioneer play if that was a format. I did play against it in Legacy yesterday.
Oh, wow.
I played against Enchantress.
Makes sense there, yeah.
Yeah.
What's good about it is that it doesn't get hit by Pinnacle Starcage.
Yep. You can play your Temporary Lockdown and your Portable Hole in the same deck.
Yeah, exactly. And also, I'm going to note that Pinnacle Starcage doesn't hit the card that I think is like quietly powering a lot of the non-Vivi, non-mono red parts of the format, which is Dredger's Insight.
I think Portable Hole might be the most insulting Magic card to call somebody. That's way up there, right? Portable
really
Hole.
Hot. Could
Yeah,
be hot too.
I'm sure
this is my homunculus. I call him Portable Hole.
Yeah, I'm sure there's many negative cards you could. Yeah. All right.
Name
Jason,
one more insulting than Portable Hole.
I won't.
Do it in the comments then.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we're paying a lot of money to have this stuff on YouTube. So comment pieces of. I'm sorry. I'm just mad at Jacob Van Gundy again. That guy.
I have a breaking bulk that one of you might get.
Okay.
Maybe not though. It's a Modern Horizons 3 Black Rare.
MH3 Black Rare?
Mm-hmm. And it's bulk currently?
Adjacent, yeah. It's the card that I find in bulk.
Is it that Ripples of... What's that card? Ripples of Undeath or whatever?
Ripples of Undeath. That's a cool card.
That is a very cool card, though.
Yeah. I finally started building landfall decks that are concerned with pulling lands out of the graveyard. And that wasn't a way I built landfall before, and like that is ridiculous.
The landfall stuff from like EOE is really cool.
I'm not going to know the answer to this one.
But like Final Fantasy was sneakily a landfall set too. So like EOE and Final Fantasy are playing really nice together, and that's been a lot of fun.
It's almost like, and I know this is crazy to think about, but like the departments are getting together and being like, how can we make things fun at the same time? How can we make
Jason
two great
hates
tastes that
Doctor
taste great
Who. What do
together?
we do? Give him Fallout and a Final Fantasy / Landfall scenario. He'll never quit.
I mean, we've talked about this before. Tifa is the coolest card in Final Fantasy.
Tifa's the coolest card in Magic.
Yeah, I mean,
You
card's
play
sick.
a land,
It's no Silver
you
Go
get
Adept.
double power. It's amazing.
It's kind of the green silver
Landfall-
go adept if you think about it.
Yeah.
See, if they had made Valakut like legendary and it only worked the way I wanted, it would be such a bad card and I would like it so much more. Because I just wanted Valakut to be like, you're playing mono red there at 2 and you are top decking land after land and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't need a burn spell. That's where I wanted Valakut. But people use it
That
as a
card's
dirty
sweet.
combo piece, that's not what it's for.
Scapeshift isn't real and it can't hurt you. My breaking bulk this week is it's Emperor of Bones.
Oh,
I-
yeah, that card's great.
The card is
I'm
close
mad
to
at
its
myself
all-time
'cause
low
it's-
again.
I bought a bunch of Ripples and I bought a bunch of Emperor of Bones and
Yeah.
I guessed wrong, so I didn't guess the other one. That's dumb. That's a great
Also,
pick of the week.
Emperor of Bones
Breaking
did spike to
bulk.
like $8 to $10 when Aether Drift came out because it was so good with Ketramos, and it's
right.
dipping back down again, and it's starting to pick up just the littlest bit. And so I'm
That
back
card's
on
busted.
picking those out of bulk, pulling those in, pulling them out of
It says when you
Up
put a
your price on
1/1
them.
counter on it, every Magic
Yes.
card puts a 1/1 counter on a creature.
Up your price on Emperor of Bones by $2, and eventually that will be the price.
Buy foil Evolution Witnesses right now. They'll never get cheaper. They'll
That
reprint
card
it, but
is
not
so
with this
cool.
art probably. Evolution Witness is a Magic card.
Yeah, Evolution Witness is cool. All right, Jason.
I love MH3.
You got a
Nadu
breaking
aside,
bulk?
it was a great set.
wow.
It had the biggest blue-green mistake in the last couple of years.
I mean, all the red-white energy stuff is pretty stupid too.
The problem is Ocelot Pride is a really
Look,
cool card.
Boros needs to be a thing every once in a while to remind people why they like Boros.
That deck is
Wait.
like 30 cards from MH3. It's not good.
The
for
actual
modern.
problem with Boros Energy is that Flage is like not that fun of a card because it's like, oh wow, what if it's Uro but it kills you? And it's like, well, why did we make that? Why did we design
have to
this?
attack?
Yeah, it's dumb. It's dumb, and then they can get haste
Yeah.
and like. But it
Yeah,
also
Arena of
just
Glory
has-
also.
Yeah, it also just has stupid cat starts.
I would be fine
like-
with that deck like up modern if it had to run something like, God, what's that like ball lightning guy, the red white ball lightning guy
the-
with lifelink? If you had to run some shit like that, that would make me happy. But you don't. You just run from a precon.
Yeah, it's kind of silly.
I've been playing a lot of Dual Commander lately, and the power level disparity between Arena of Glory, which is in my deck, and
Yeah.
Hall of the Bandit Lord, which is also in my deck, is kind of crazy.
Yep. Very huge difference, yes. Arena of Glory is also just one of those cards that, like, do you have it in all your ready DH decks? You probably should.
Yep.
Man, you're gonna make me write a article wanting to talk about the stuff that just, oh my god, why isn't this in more EDH decks? Why isn't this in more EDH decks? While it's getting added to some EDH decks lately, this white uncommon from Prophecy is retailing for as much as $2. What?
Repercussion.
No.
Prophecy?
I said Prophecy uncommon.
No
That's
one
not a
knows
real
what that
set.
is. Yeah, exactly.
Prophecy is a very real set. It had
Rhystic
Rhystic
Healing?
Study at common, famously.
And nothing else. No,
Is
They
the
it
had
Rhystic-
other cards.
The Rhystic Studies, Jason, those went in the flood. Those were in the floodwaters at my home. That's where that was.
Well, that's what you get for being a merfolk player.
that
Is
might
it
be fair.
Penitent something?
Oh no, you're not on the right track at all. That's good.
The Penitent Man Shall Pass.
This is an anti-venom card, if that helps you at all.
I gotta look at what Anti-Venom does. I promise
Yeah,
I'm not
that
cheating.
No, actually, that won't help you.
Doesn't
This
help
is
at all.
Entangler. Enchanted
That's an-
creature may block any number of creatures. People are throwing this in anti-venom.
Oh, I was
It
going
is
to
a
get
high
that.
synergy card in that deck. This is a card you may find in bulk. This is like a
I
buck
love this
retail,
card.
and it's only going to get more interesting with the anti-venom horrifying healer deck, which is the most popular of the Spider-Man cards that no one is going to be able to afford because a collector booster is 3 times what it used to be, but like wages haven't gone up in 20 years,
okay,
so
so-
figure it out.
Well, and that's what we're going to talk about next here. And for what it's worth, collector booster boxes on TCG Player, listings have actually come down in the past 2 weeks by about $100, maybe even a little more.
Good.
Makes me feel
it's reality,
somewhat
right?
less great, to be honest, about where I bought mine. But there's been a lot of talk about the set, a lot of talk about how, and this is something that was confirmed by Mark Rosewater, it was originally meant to be a small set like Assassin's Creed or March of the Machine Aftermath. And
would have been fucking
it probably
perfect.
would have been fine, but
It would have been perfect.
they made the decision and whatever, they're going to release the sets into standard. And I think that, to be honest, so like, I think that maybe like in their minds, even it's okay that it isn't a huge release, blah, blah, blah. It's okay to have a smaller set because there are more sets in standard. Not everything needs to be. So it's okay that it's like this. But in reality, it's possible that, well, they just had to expand the set at the last minute. And instead of like, and I don't know enough about Final Fantasy, people seem to be like very happy with that. Whereas this is kind of like, yeah, there's a bunch of Spider-Mans. It feels like an Into the Spider-Verse movie.
Final Fantasy is probably the best UB they've ever done. And if you hate Final Fantasy, it's one of the best they've done.
So everything I've talked to, every Final Fantasy fan I've talked to, every analysis I've done of the set, I like learned a lot about the games. It seems like every single card in that entire set was created with just deep attention and love and care.
Yes.
Like the cards Suplex and Phantom Train working the way that they do apparently is like a very important story beat. Every single card in Spider-Man feels like, this is your Glub Shido. This is your guy. Your guy does his thing. Here's a different guy. There's so little continuity between the cards. And that's not to say that it's not a good set. There are some cool cards in it.
It doesn't feel super powerful.
It doesn't feel like it's exciting unless you're like, ooh, Spider-Man. Whereas Final Fantasy, the cards were just kind of cool on their own. I will say they did kind of get me with the source material full arts, like the comic book.
All the treatments
Those are
look
sick.
great.
Yeah.
Everything about it looks like but like, keep in mind that I'm going to say this, and keep in mind that the market said no to this, is I think it would be really cool as a Aftermath style set that you just kind of bought to get some cool treatments.
Or
and it just
Assassin's
kind of
Creed.
existed. Yeah, exactly.
Here's something to think about. They set these wheels in motion 2 years ago. I think if Kamala Harris was president and our economy wasn't in the shitter, I'd feel a little bit better about these prices on Spider-Man.
I mean,
fair enough.
Turns out that you don't hate Spider-Man magic, you hate Ronald Reagan.
But for real, like, we didn't know, people didn't, they're like, well, he said he wants to do tariffs and everyone understands that'll f everything up. So Wizards like, yeah, we'll go ahead. Like, you know what? I bet we can charge even more money because the economy's it's good and it'll be even better in 2024. So let's do it.
I mean, yeah, the Final Fantasy boxes ran up. The Spider-Man boxes didn't start at $900. They started at like $600 or $700. You know, the price got pushed up on the secondary market, and now it's come back down a little bit. And keep in mind, all of this is obviously pre-sales, as none of this exists yet, but it is helpful knowing where the price is. For instance, Storm Surge Games with 50,000 plus sales on TCG Player has 32 Spider-Man collector booster boxes listed at $824. So it's not like, oh, we're racing to the bottom, there's one or two people there. Like, that is a lot of supply. We're not close to it being 900, I suppose, is what I'm saying. Whereas 2 weeks ago, they were 950 for the cheapest. So I think that maybe this will be coming down, but we'll see how much the fact that the set seems to be kind of panned and not loved, the fact that there are cool things, I think it's going to be very interesting to see where these collector boxes go.
This is a really mediocre Magic set, but it's a pretty cool collector product, and I think that's the problem, is it's being sold to us as if it's a Magic set. And it's not to say it's like, my problem is that it's not Magic IP.
But if you just play it as the Spider-Man, the board game, it's great.
This would have been the perfect set to just have 4 commander decks plus like a collector box release. This should have been Doctor Who.
It's inexplicable. I mean, it's not.
It's explicable because Doctor Who sold better than they thought it would, and they're like, well, we need even more. And think of Spider-Man as not a product for Magic players. Think of it as a product to get people who like Spider-Man and might play Magic. But even if they don't ever play Magic again, they bought a bunch of boosters And
right, but that's why they want people. That's why all of the Universes Beyond is in standard, because they want people to have the gateway into actually playing the game of Magic. And Commander, for as much as people like it, is not the most newbie friendly way to learn playing the game, or probably the most profitable for Wizards long term.
And they know people will just buy the thing because it's a Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy booster box is a bobblehead. To some
yes,
people.
that's part of
it's
the audience.
It's a Funko Pop. So those
but, like,
people
on the
are
other hand,
subsidizing some of the cost of some of the. It's slower to get the singles back into the market, yeah, but like not every booster box needs to be opened by like a dealer or a vendor anymore.
Well, it's weird where I think Spider-Man misses the mark on this in a pretty big way, but the product spread for Avatar looks like it is so much more focused on getting people into Magic. Like, Avatar has 4 or 8 welcome deck things, right? Like, it's like, Avatar is meant to be a Magic set that fans from other IPs can get into.
Yes.
Spider-Man really feels like we are selling you a collector product, and maybe you will get into Magic.
Yeah.
It's backwards.
A little,
I mean, it's not backwards if
Avatar
your goal is
seems
to
like
have
it will
shareholders.
get the Lorcana people, though.
Well, again, like, if you're Wizards, like, this was designed as one thing, or rather maybe conceptualized as one thing 2 years ago. And somewhere along the way, from when it was conceptualized as one thing, they made the decision at a strategic level that all of our Universes Beyond products need to be in standard. We need to streamline our releases so that players are not just lost once they get in. They need to buy their stuff and get into standard. So, like, that makes sense. It also then just clearly clashed with the design of this Spider-Man set, it feels like, because even if it doesn't impact standard that much and you're essentially telling standard players, okay, well, you can mostly ignore the set, it's just got cool collector's stuff. I don't know if that's great either, because like the collector's stuff is nice to have, but if the cards aren't good, like that ultimately does matter. Like Aether Drift collector boxes are not worth anything and Duskmourn boxes are.
Yep.
Okay, can I go off on a brief tangent and Cass won't forget what she was just about to say?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. 30 seconds. I see a lot of people blame EDH for the fact that cards like Orcish Bowmasters exist. It's like, oh, this shit that was designed for EDH is fucking up these other formats. And I think that Orcish Bowmasters was not put in the set to get Lord of the Rings fans to buy it. I think it was to get Legacy players to buy it. So I think sometimes they push the power level and throw those juice cards in there. So the Magic people are like, I don't give a fuck about Spider-Man. They're like, oh shit, I need 4 Thwips or whatever. Because Thwip is a blue card that lets me do some horse shit in Legacy. So I think anytime they do that to get people who wouldn't buy Spider-Man for Spider-Man to like engage with the product, they put those juice cards in there, and those are the ones that end up ruining up the formats.
Well,
and I don't think that's because EDH exists. I think it's because Legacy exists.
This weird format tribalism that Jason loves to talk about aside, I do think they have to put good cards in sets to sell them, right? Like,
yes,
you do actually have to put strong cards in booster packs for people to give, especially Magic players, and
if you can't do that, put in a fetch or a shockland, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, Magic cards have equity in the utility that the card provides from its text, right? There are obviously cards that don't get the utility from the text on them anymore, which is a fairly new thing. But, like, for the most part, if a set is full of dog cards, no one's going to want to buy it.
Yep.
And I think, actually, a card that really sticks out to me is very powerful from the set. That is, this feels like a card that, when they originally pitched it internally, it had to be stronger, because this feels like a card that got powered down somewhere along the way, and it's Oscorp Industries. It's a come into play tapped, tri-land Grixis land with Mayhem, so if you discard it this turn, you can play it from your graveyard.
Oh, this card's
and
cool.
The text that feels like they added it to make it weaker was that when you play it from your graveyard, you lose 2 life.
Yes.
But, like, a land that you can play from your graveyard after playing, like, I don't know, Winter Night Stories is really strong.
That's a great point. And it does, in fact, provide 2 of the colors in that deck.
And it lets you play lands from your graveyard in a deck that doesn't have green in it.
Yeah.
In a way that only a few red and artifacts do.
Cool card.
Imagine playing Kefka comma, court mage, or whatever he's called.
Yeah.
Discard Oscorp Industry, make my 6th land drop. Ooh, we're cooking.
I don't know if that particular one works, to be honest. Kefka triggers on the end step, right?
No, Kefka's an ETB and attack trigger.
Oh, you're right. My bad.
That card's really good.
Oh, I'm thinking of the... I think I'm thinking of the 7 mana Kefka, I think is an instant trigger. Yeah.
The commander one,
wow. You're right then. Yes, it is nutty with that.
Imposter Syndrome is a very EDH card. I think a card that does this, costing 6 mana, is perfect. I just like games to go long enough to do like this, and Imposter Syndrome is funny.
It is a funny... Yeah,
but it's an EDH card. It's not a CEDH card. It's not a 1 mana counterspell. It's a 6 mana piece of shit that takes forever to play, and it should do something really funny.
Imposter Syndrome feels like 2025's version of Progenitor Mimic. Like, it feels like it's the correct power level for 2025 in that space of just like, I want to do something. It's like a Rite of Replication if it was an enchantment. You know, it's there for the goofy stuff.
They've tried so many times to make a 4-mana Imposter Syndrome, and it's just like, oh, it only copies outlaws or people wearing hats, and it's just like, nah, 6 mana and you can just do whatever you want. Just like, let's just do it.
Well, and the thing is, if you lose, in my opinion, if you lose to a 6 mana enchantment plus a board of creatures, you can't really be mad about that. You're probably losing anyway, right? So, like, whatever.
Oh, so to me, you're like, Corbin's like, well, if someone can do the kind of boring bullshit Jason likes to do in EDH, then the game is already... Like, people are casting 6 mana enchantments. He has cards in his hand. Jason still has land. Yes.
I would say it's not broken, right? Like, it's not like...
it's not Skull
You're saying, because to your point that it's not CEDH, right? Like, it's not... Like, what makes it appealing is not its power level per se.
I want
that it's cool.
3 6 mana blue enchantments in an EDH deck. 2 or 3, right? And it should be something like Imposter Syndrome or Mind's Dilation or something like that.
I love Mind's Dilation.
I'll play 2 or 3. Because, like, you can't run a bunch of them, but you can run 1 or 2 as a treat.
Yeah.
Think of it like this, right? Like, CEDH is like it's like a Ferrari. It's like really finely tuned, it's fast, it's kind of exciting, but for the most part, it's boring. Everyone knows it's luxury, but it's fine. Imposter Syndrome, the kind of Jason likes, is like a DeLorean with flames painted on the side.
Yeah.
It is not super functional. It's cool as hell. It makes for a good story.
Yeah.
What I'm saying
is that you are the mozzarella sticks out of time, because that's the kind of shit I'm into. If I bought a DeLorean, I would have out of time as the license plate.
Yeah, man.
It's
cool for the sake of being cool.
You know what else is cool? These picks of the week.
Pick of the week. Pick of the week. Pick of the week. Time for the pick of the week.
That was so good. I'm so happy. And you'll be happy if you pick
Hedwig
up this card.
had a less botched transition than that.
No, that was amazing.
What did you say?
Hedwig.
Hedwig
and the Angry Inch? Have you seen Hedwig and the Angry Inch? Oh, it's a great movie. You'll love it, unless you hate musicals.
You should look at picking up this week. Odor Axonil, Deepest Might. It's a mythic from Lost Caverns of Ixalan. Last week, it was $8. This week, it's $11. Next week, it'll be $20. No, it's weirder. If a red source you control would deal non-combat damage less than Odor Axonil's power, which is 4, to an opponent, that source instead deals damage equal to Odor Axonil's power to that opponent. So there's red decks in Standard that make use of a bunch of creatures that ping either on your opponent casting spells or on you casting spells.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah.
And then you play
stuff
Odor.
Like Spell Shock deals 4 and then you bump his power.
Well, it's you play like the Scalding Viper, that's a 2-drop that pings your opponent for non-creature spells. And then on turn 4, you play Odor, which is your 4/4 trampling god. That, oh, by the way, if it dies, it returns back as a land that maybe you'll get to transform later, but if not, maybe you just got the land out of it, which doesn't hurt either when you're playing Nova Hellkite, which costs 5 mana to play. So the point is, it's really good. And to the point we were talking about earlier, it's like one of the reasons maybe Mono Red's actually the best deck. We don't know yet. Standard has not reached its final form.
Well, yeah, I mean, if this isn't Vivi, this is a card that is getting played more now than it was a couple of weeks ago, and that's the kind of you want to look at, right? It's trending up. You know what else is trending up? I got 2 cards, and neither of them are great, but I feel like if you buy a bunch of copies of both, you'll make money.
Let's hear it.
Pariah and its associated shield.
I like
the
those
most
cards.
popular Spider-Man deck being built per EDH rec right now is Anti-Venom Horrifying Healer, and it is a life total deck. I'm noticing that Wave of Reckoning is like gone from like 10 to 15 recently. Each creature deals damage to itself equal to its power. I think Wave of Reckoning could be a Venom spike, and if that is the case, I think there is a good case to be made for Pariah and Pariah's Shield, both of which having 4 printings each, including Mystery Booster. I think they're both around $1 right now, and I think they will be worth more potentially. But again, maybe we would need more Venom decks to be played than we're going to get. But I also feel like those are cards that haven't been reprinted in a couple of years, and they do interesting. Especially if you like that kind of brash taunter kind of nonsense that I really like in EDH, where if you want to attack me, you gotta attack my friend Stuffy Doll first.
The thing about all these cards is that they're cool cards. Like, they're unique and they're cool, and they have a reason to go up, which is like, these are my favorite kind of commander spikes.
Yeah. I like the stuff people are... Because when I first started trying to like pick EDH stuff, I was like, oh, this is what I would build. And it turns out I don't build like anybody else, and that's why I was able to write articles telling people how I would build. So if you're a weirdo, don't go with your instinct, just go with data. And data is saying, you know, people are playing Anti-Venom, and Pariah's Shield are hilarious cards.
Yeah, well, Pariah's Shield is a bulk rare from Ravnica Remastered, so like huge opportunity there.
Yeah, throw that in a Phyrexian Vindicator and just like, oh, and Tangler also. That was my break in bulk, so it's all related.
There you go.
Jason's
all right, Cass.
pick is an anti-venom deck.
You get the final pick of the week.
Mine I actually discovered while I was pricing some stuff and looking at the band tools, the MTG band tools. Urza's Incubator is pretty close to its, I'll say all-time low. I'll call it its modern Magic era all-time low.
Of course. Yeah.
It had a little bit more of a dip when MH3 first came out, but like it didn't really dip that much. It's like $19-ish. It's sort of been looking to trend upwards. But
that
there's
strikes me as a card that's going to get reprinted in the next year.
Well, it just got printed in Modern Horizons 3 as a rare, right? And so it had a huge supply injection.
When was MH3? Was that 2023 or 2024?
2024.
Jeez, that's been dissociating a long time.
But it's one of those things where it's got a direct premium of $30. TCG low is somewhere between 15 and 20. And the fact that the price on this card did not really get hit by a pretty huge supply injection means that this is a card people are desirable. It's desirable people. It's good in every Kindred deck or Typal deck. It's Urza's Incubator, folks. It's cheap. Get it now.
I can get it is. I think I can see there's like 2 futures for this card. It has this future where, and you could have convinced me originally that being from Urza's Destiny and Commander 2015 that its price was due to supply more so than demand. After the Modern Horizons reprint, it's just clearly due to demand. But but here's the thing: you could convince me like that Wizards has decided that this card and effect should be cheap for all the Kindred decks, and they're just going to reprint it into the ground tactically over the next 5 years, or they just don't, right? And then it just goes from 13 back up to 20, and it's just this great hit once every year and a half reprint, you know?
And I thought the fact that it says Urza's Incubator means they won't put it in a Final Fantasy deck, but they've shown they don't really care.
Well, it could easily have a skin, right? But But it's also going to go up if it doesn't.
But they're like, Skull Clamp, I don't know. Like, anything generic, they can reprint a ton. Urza's Incubator, I think, is a little bit more insulated from, like, any IP can reprint it versus, like, Magic IP can reprint it. So it's tougher to reprint because it has Urza's in the name, but also they could just make it obsolete. They could just have Dr. Octopus's Incubator, it costs 3 mana or something.
Yeah.
So
it's weird where we've seen stuff like Coat of Arms and Vanquisher's Banner kind of be like the previous Typal cards that didn't really go anywhere, or they print them in the ground. Like, Coat of Arms doesn't have the same appeal as it used to. Urza's Incubator lets you cast your spells faster, and that's all people really want to do is they want to do their thing.
Agreed. And 3 mana
this feels
is
like
a lot
the
less than
premium
5.
card. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, if I were to target just in my brain here, right, it could get a treatment in Lorwyn, but conversely, if it doesn't, it's going to spike with Lorwyn.
Okay, so which is good then? Do you want Urza's Destiny if they're going to reprint a bunch of
No, you want MH3.
You want MH3?
Yeah.
Why?
I want the cheapest version. I also want the version that shows the highest on search engine optimization. Most people, when they see an Urza's Incubator, they're going to see the one that's the most common because their buddy has one, and their buddy probably has an MH3 one, and they're like, Modern Horizons 3 Urza's
But like,
Incubator.
as an investment is what I'm saying.
The same thing.
But I'm saying, my goal when I buy these is not to sit on them for a super long time, right? My goal on them is to buy them, wait until the direct premium catches up, and sell it for like 30.
But like, even in that, like, to her point, Jason, I don't want old bordered versions of cards. They just always do worse.
It's also this weird thing where, like, you buy 10 near mint copies on TCG Player or whatever, and you get 8 of them as actually near mint, and you have to deal with the other 2. Like, buying old cards kind of stinks.
I think it's mostly search engine optimization, but the prices on the old stuff do not move as fast always. They're usually worth more up front, but...
That said, I'm kind of very bullish on Urza block foils in general right now. This card doesn't actually have any sales velocity, so, you know, a grain of salt and all that, but this card looks really good in foil from Urza's Destiny. I'm not saying you should go buy them for that, but if you're a baller and you want an Urza's Incubator, you should get a foil one.
Foils are probably a different game with Urza stuff for sure, but... Yeah. All right, well, I think that about wraps it up for us this week. We want to give a shout out to Ban for the sponsorship, and of course, go ahead.
That's gonna sound like it was a hard cut into Corbin saying like that. That really sounds like a really abrupt cut. That's how he naturally did that. That jarring a transition, like.
Jason, you ever watch? So I recently showed my son, my 9-year-old, It from the 90s or 80s or whenever, the Tim Curry.
You showed him the Tim Curry It?
Yeah, it's not that scary, to be honest with you. The point is, like a TV movie, you have to build in hard cuts and hard opens for the audience, for the commercials.
When Marcel's right and we sell this podcast to like an entity and they put commercials in it, we'll have to have more hard cuts.
When we get aggregated, that's where it would go.
The actual answers we need interstitials. We need to record. I think 30% of what Jason says should just become interstitials because, like, he has a lot of good things to say. He just doesn't say them always at like the time where it's relevant.
It's true, yeah.
I have to wait for my turn to talk.
I know.
Yeah. Oh, man. Anyway, all right. Well, everyone, thank you for listening. Some of that was probably in after hours, which you can check out by going to patreon.com/BSB. Of course, that is what makes the podcast truly possible. We really do appreciate that. Even if you just hop in at that $1, $2 level per month, please support us on Patreon. Patreon.com/BSB.
That sounds like begging. Listen, if you support us, you will be allowed to say you support us. If I catch you saying, hey, I'm so glad to be a patron of Brainstorm Brewery, apparently we will investigate that because that's what people do. If you put a hashtag, I sponsor Brainstorm Brewery, and you don't, we'll fucking find you. So, you know what? Get right with the IRS. Give us $2 a month, which is nothing, and you can be in the Discord.
All right. Well, everyone, thank you for listening. We'll see you next week.